Spring is coming. Let's bring some of those colors inside. Hi, this is Tweek. I'm using the beads and terracotta pots to create my own version of the springtime colors. Join us. Supplies you need for this project are: you will need 4-inch terracotta pots with saucers, sunburst beads of various colors, some 2-inch quilter's pins. You'll need some assorted beads to decorate whatever color scheme you're using, and some wire will hold the project together. So let's get started. I wanted to bring some of the colors of spring into the house now. I've got to wait, I know. Warm weather is coming, and I thought I would use some of these terracotta pots. It's a 4-inch pot, and I would decorate it. Very similar to the bowls. I made beaded bowls, and I also made beaded eggs. This is a little bit of a different shape, so I'm going to have to alter my design to accommodate that shape. So let's go here. We've got our pots and our 2-inch quilter's pins, and I've got an assortment of beads here. This, what I've got laid out, is the pattern I want on this pot that I'm making to show you. First thing I had to do was choose my colors and lay out the pattern. I had an assortment of beads left. These are all those beads. They're called sunburst beads. They're called starlight beads. So I got them online, and as long as they look like a flower, and there's 6 petals to them with a hole in the center, and they are plastic. And when you put them together, they kind of interlock with each other to make a really beautiful little shape as you pile them up. So for the lower level of my pot, since it is thinner on the bottom and bigger on the top, I want to make sure I measure properly so that the bead design is going to fit the pot. I take the 2-inch quilter's pins, and on the bottom layer, I want to add 5 of these sunburst beads. And like I said, I'm doing, you can choose whatever beads colors you want. I'm doing a stripe pattern on this one. So I've got the 5 beads lined up there. Now I'm going to add a teardrop bead. And what I'm trying to do, and then another little bead at the top, so you have just enough room to snap this pin in place in the head of the pin. And that's going to stay. I want when these are lined up on the pot, I want them to come in towards the bottom to get thinner, or to make the circumference thinner. And if I ran these beads all the way down to the bottom, it would stay bigger. It would stay fatter, and that makes a bigger circle. I didn't want that look. That's on the top of the pot. So on the bottom, I want 20 pins with 5 of these sunburst beads, a teardrop bead, and then another little bead that goes on there. And then I'm going to line them up and put them together. I take my wire. This pattern is so similar to the others I've done. The only difference being we're trying to fit these pins onto the pot. And I'm going to start by stringing the wire through the top of the pin, the head pin, and there's a lot of room there, so the wire's going to want to flop out, but we'll take care of that as we go. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put the wire through the pin, and then I'm going to add a bead. Let's see, what did I use? I used smaller beads on the bottom of the pot, because again, I want the circumference of the bottom to be more in and flare up to the top. So that just means kind of wrangling around with my beads to make that happen. So we've got, my pattern is one of these beads. These are plastic beads. And I'm just going to go down. I started this side, make sure I start on the right side. And I'm just going to follow my pattern down. Oh, I see here, one of these pins is gold. You see that? And one is silver. Now you could do them, it doesn't matter. I have done all silver, all gold. There happens to be a couple oddballs in here, which is really not going to show in the pattern, and I don't mind, really, as long as we've got the color in the beads. So we're going right down the line. Wire through the top of the pin, the metal side is up, and then a bead. And I'm going to just go right on down. Pin in the bead, pin in the bead. Now, see all the wire wants wants to fall out of that space. I'm going to tuck it in, and then as I pull this all together into a circle, they might slip again, but I will adjust as I go. Give myself enough wire here to play with. Heavy duty cutters here. Good. There's one little bead left, which means I missed one. There's got to be a bead between every pin. Now we're going to pull it together. This is really pretty. I love the color combination. It's very random because it's the beads I had left over, so that's what the color scheme was. Now, you see how these are all trying to get out of the wire has to stay up in the top of that pin? So I'm going to gently pull together, and any of them that pop out, make sure that those wires pop back in. Now they will stay in place. The beads will help hold the pins in place, and the wire will as well. But first I have to make sure they are all where they should be, and then pull tight. Look at, they're all in. Let's put a tight knot on there. As tight as you can get it. Good. Everybody in? Excellent. Make another knot. That's pretty, isn't it? I'm going to use this to make sure. Oh, see, he popped out again. That's fine though. Just make sure when you hook them all together, they're going to stay in that spot. There he goes. Okay. And clip off the excess. So what we've got here now is the base of our pot. Now I want the hole there because we're going to put the saucer there so that the pot can drain. So we've got the base, the pot. Let's see if it's going to fit. It is going to fit. Plenty of room there. Excellent. I'm not going to use these littler saucers. I picked up a bigger saucer, so that'll fit better in the end there. But we've got our basic there, and now we're going to add the next level, which means I'm going to add these guys. Now this was simply 8 of these beads strung right up the pin. Very, very, very simple. There's enough space on the top when you string them, they interlock together, that you can easily push the pin back in. And if it doesn't want to go easily, just wrangle it a little bit. Here it goes. So, that's what we're going to do. We're going to add these to this. We're going to put circle to circle. So this should be less hassle with the wire falling out because it's enclosed. So that's a help. So I'm going to start, because I'm making a pattern design of a stripe. So I'm going to hook color to color as I go around. Okay. And to put between those, I'm going to put some of these pretty beads. They're a little bit bigger, but that's okay because I wanted the smaller part down at the bottom, and then we can bring up a little bit more width as we go to the top. So right here, these I believe are 12 millimeter beads, but they fit the bill, so we're going to add these beads. Get some wire. I'm going to use this as a stopgap so they don't roll all over in case I dump them. And we're going to start. Ordinarily, if you have a pattern, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you start, but this stripe pattern I want to be exacting and matching. So this is the inside, so we just want to make sure that all these metal, you can see the metal as you hook them together inside. So we're going to come through the first bead and try not to move around too much. If they pop out, we'll pop them back in. And then we buddy up with its neighbor that's the same color there. See, and I did that wrong, didn't I? Make sure that the metal goes up. Okay? And then put a bead. So it means coming through the next pin, finding its buddy. Looks like we're going with the brown here. And adding a bead. Here we go. I'm going to go all the way around. 2 pins and a bead, 2 pins and a bead. Aha, last pin. And a bead. Now we're ready to very carefully pull this all together. See how loose it is. And I'm going to give myself a little more. Actually, I think that's enough there. I'm going to give myself some excess on this side. Okay, here we go. Very gently start pulling this together. So I am doing some wrangling this time on this one. These beads here, the pretty sunburst beads, they can get twisted and caught up into each other. So as I'm pulling tight to bring this up, I'm going to make sure that the pins are straight and that the beads aren't twisted. And I think I've got it, so I'm going to put another, at a preliminary knot in there, and I'll put another one. I'm always so grateful for this part. So I got them in line and set up the way I want them to be. Now let's see, we've got that spot. Let's see how it's going to look for the pot. Oh, good. Good. Boy, that wrangling can, wow, that's wrangling. Wire wrangling. I'm getting good at it. So let me cut off the excess here. There we go. That is going to hold. Everything's in place. We have one more level to do. I hope there's a little less wrangling involved. Isn't that turning out pretty? So we're going to bring this up and we're going to bring those together with another bead. Now I'm using a little bit softer bead here. I'm using just some wooden beads. I guess I didn't have to dump them out, but I did. 22 wooden beads. They're going to sit between each one of these pins. So let me do that. So I'm going to get some wire, and it looks like I have just enough wire to finish this project off. I'm going to take some here, oh plenty, leave it here as a stopgap, and I'm going to start stringing. Now the wire is going to want to come out of that spot, so we adjust when we pull this together. A bead and a pin, and a bead and a pin. Oh, that's going to be pretty. Looks like I'm one bead short. I must have rolled off. Where'd you go, bead? There you are. You're hiding. Nope, you gotta be a part of this project. Okay, now. I got way too much here. Pull it all together. And all I gotta do here is make sure that the wire's in the top of the pin. So I'm hanging on tight up here. And so I'm gonna go around bead by bead, make sure the wire's in the top of the pin. And I can pick up some more of the slack. Before I give it the knot, I want to make sure. Let's see how the pot's going to fit. Oh, how was that for perfection? Isn't that nice? So, very quickly, get this tied off. Pulling as tight as I can. Comes right up to the lip of the pot, 4-inch pot. Excellent. One more for insurance. Okay, Pat, now you gave me way more wrangling than I'm used to, but I think the outcome is beautiful. Save all my wire. Used up all that. And, oh my goodness, look at that. See, you can plant a plant and pull out the pot and put a different plant in there. Now, these are the little saucers that came with this 4-inch pot. It works, but I wanted a little more insurance there, so I picked up some bigger saucers, and it sits nicely. So your plant will drain, and it will be happy. Oh my gosh, so pretty. Look at some of the others I did. This one's one of my jade plants. Look at all the different color combinations. Here's a pothos. Pretty. I think this one is probably my favorite because it reminds me of daffodils. But I think I'm going to have to get, a smaller plant. So if you like what you've seen here today, give us a like, subscribe to our channel, and remember to ring the bell so you know when another episode of Tweeks with Tweek is coming along. Until then, oh my gosh, look what you can do. Take your plants, the free plants are the ones you gather from your plants at home. See you again.